Hello and welcome to the channel. And today's video is a work in progress video. So some of you eagle-eyed viewers may be looking at this figure and thinking, wait, Eric, haven't we seen this one before? And to answer that question is yes, you have, although not like this. So let's go back to around 2021. I believe it's when I released the video featuring my version of a Year 2 Batman, using the Detective Comics, the variant blue and gray version as a basis for what was my version of a Year 2 Batman. However, recently there were some things that I wanted to improve on the figure to where it is now not just gonna be known as like a Year 2 variant or a version, of a Year 2, but it's gonna be more or less the McFarlane Batman. Just like we have different versions, interpretations of a character. So this version is gonna be what I'm trying to become into the ultimate version of what a McFarlane Batman in a McFarlane style would become or is, right? Some would say, well, the Year 2 is pretty much the quintessential McFarlane style Batman, and that would be correct. Although there were some things on that figure that didn't quite nail the whole look, right? But anyway, obviously I never got a chance to purchase that one, and it is too expensive to purchase in the secondary market. So that's why I've decided, I'm gonna just keep improving on my figure that I have here and just make it into my version of what I feel would be the ultimate McFarlane style Batman. So what has changed on this figure? Well, two things, mainly up in this area here. A new head sculpt and a new shoulder cowl thing, whatever you want to call this portion of his costume. So the head sculpt comes from the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, the one that's the Tutti Fruity Pebbles multicolored Batman. I used that head sculpt, which has been modified, and then the shoulders, cowl neck piece comes from the Blackest Night Batman. So first off, I first purchased the Zur-En-Arrh Batman for the sole purpose of someday using that head sculpt on something like this, knowing that I would need to use it to make a quintessential classic Batman. At the time, McFarlane still hadn't released what would become the quintessential classic looking Batman, which is the Nightfall Batman. So hard to argue against this figure as to being pretty much everyone's go-to for a classic Batman in this line. Obviously, you have the old Mattel DC Universe Classics line that has several classic versions of Batman. But for the McFarlane line, the Nightfall Batman is pretty much right now the classic Batman. If you're looking for a Batman from that era, 70s, 80s, and 90s, right? Anyone that uses the oval, the yellow oval with the black, with the bat, right? And so I knew that I wanted to use that head sculpt for something like this. And then once McFarlane released the Blackest Night Batman with these shoulder neck piece, I knew that I need to get it just for this, because I knew that eventually that has the signature McFarlane look, right? Those pointy those pointy shoulder thingies, and that head sculpt reminded me. It's pretty much the same head sculpt as that's on the year 2 figure, right? But obviously this one has I've customized it with the longer ears. So and also I'm gonna preview something that I'm working on also for another version. You can also could have gotten the Thomas Wayne Batman that had the smaller spikes on the shoulders as well, to do your own, McFarlane style Batman. But this is gonna be used for something else. But I knew that I needed to get that Blackest Night Batman just for this piece. Obviously, I wasn't gonna buy full price just to pretty much tear the figure apart, which I had to. And I'll show you those pieces in just a second. But yeah, so I waited and waited and waited for the perfect time as to when to buy the figure. The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh I had for a few months now. And so I'm just looking for it. And the Blackest Night Batman, I just recently got him from Amazon, because he was on special for like $13. So I said, perfect, that's the perfect time to get the figure. So in order to put this figure together, the standard neck piece that comes with the standard neck piece that comes with the Detective Comics 1000 Batman, you can completely remove it. So this is how I used to have this figure. So it had the Essentials Nightfall Batman head, the original neck piece, which I cut off, and then this is the actual neck piece that plugs into the body. So that's how I used to have the figure before. Now, what I had to do in order to make this piece fit snugly, because it wouldn't fit on the neck piece that was on the figure before. So the good thing is this piece was removable. I had to use the same neck assembly from the Dark Knight. I'm sorry, not the Blackest Night Batman. But in order to do that, I had to cut it off from the figure. So this is the what's left of the upper portion of the figure. I had to cut off this part, trim it down in order to fit it, the neck piece into the body. Sort of leaving it like this, like, similar to this, like this shape, in order to plug it into the body, and then fit the neck piece on top, which worked out perfectly. And then the only thing left to do was just repaint the head sculpt and the upper the upper portion of the cowl and the shoulders here. Um, what I ended up doing is gluing the tape to the bottom of the plastic here of the shoulder piece. You can see some residue, some glue residue here, but for the most part, from a distance, you can't really tell. All right. So the cape is glued from underneath, and then the actual neck, the neck piece, this entire piece is glued on from the neck, from the inside into the neck. So this piece is not removable. Now the other thing that I used from the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh are the arms, because, well, not the whole arms, just the bicep area. The I would have used all of the arms except for that the gloves, the gauntlets that figure uses is not classic looking, right? So the only thing that I did is swap out the biceps from that figure onto this one. Yeah, here. So these are the original biceps. I forget what side this is. I believe this is the front side. So this side. Yeah, for those who remember, the detail on this arm was not the best. You can't really tell the musculature at all. And besides, that's not even how the arm is. It's not anatomically correct, right? So this is the new bicep, right, which is a lot better than this, right? This looks almost like two butt cheeks versus some fairly more muscular looking bicep. The only drawback is, since this, you can see right there, it's a little thicker on the cut for the socket that they use. So this arm is more loose at this end of the joint, all right? But that's fine. I don't mind. So I did that for both arms. Obviously, I had to repaint them. It's not an exact match for the gray of the suit, but it's pretty close. And then for the head sculpt, the ears, these are molded from a piece of one of the stands. I use one of these to cut out the shape. I had to still sand it down, just to sand down some of the thickness on it, and then shape them and use 2-part epoxy to affix it to the head sculpt, and then reshape into a pointy, sharp edges. You can see right here. There you go. So I reshaped the edges. And then added this filler on the back of the head. Right. It's not 100% like the source that I used to base this off of, which was the cover for Batman 427, which was the basis for the year 2 figure, and also a sculpture that was released. But essentially that's the inspiration that I used to create this remold this head sculpt. I believe the ears may be slightly a tad too long. Maybe I could cut off like a couple of millimeters, and they would look even better. But I'm just gonna leave it like that. Um, the other thing, so that's pretty much what the update on this version. So what I'm gonna be calling this figure now from now on, it's not just gonna be known as a year 2 Batman. I'm just gonna call this the McFarlane Batman, right? Because it's what I'm trying to make here and build is create like the ultimate version of a McFarlane style Batman. Also, the hand is also the open hand here is the one that came with the Blackest Night. You can still see, well, it has a ring there, a power ring, but you can't see it. It's barely molded in there, and I just repainted it to match the color of the blue pretty closely. Um, so the other thing that I need to find is a perfect donor for the abdomen area. So um, you can see here how the abdomen area is very tapered as it goes into the pelvic area here. There's a lot of space around the obliques here, right? So I'm trying to find the perfect donor for to fill out that area. I could have used the because I tried it. I could have used the midsection here from the Blackest Night, but it's two different textures on the body or the suit actually. You can see here this is heavily textured, right? It has the lines that kind of go with the suit, right? That this one has, but this one is a completely smooth texture. So, well, other than this parts on the side, but for the rest of the suit, it's all completely smooth. So I would need to find something that is smooth, even though it may not have the textures on the side, but I still want something that is completely smooth to to use as a donor for the midsection area. And the other part that I'm thinking of swapping out is the thighs. Again, these are a little too skinny for my taste. I may try if I in the future I can find this guy for like a much cheaper price, on discount or something. Then I'd probably swap out these thighs on this figure. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, why didn't you just use this entire figure as a basis for this custom? And yes, you are right. I should have used this figure. Um, However, there's only just one detail about this that I wish it had, which is the larger bat symbol that this one has. This I could have, I could have swapped out this symbol and put it on this guy. Sure, it would have worked. But there's, like I said, there's something about this figure that I wanted to make it work because a lot of people, ragged on it and said, since it was the first release, um, it wasn't, it's far beyond perfect and all of that. So I want to make it work. Obviously I'm swapping out parts, so it's not so much that it's no longer going to be the original figure, but I think the recipes were there to make a good Batman figure. I tried the abdomen area from the Three Jokers mold. I have it here. I tried that midsection. The thing is that the plug that goes from the upper torso into the abdomen area, the ball joint that they used is this on this one was smaller than most recent releases, McFarlane releases. So while the abdomen was perfect, the ball joint is just too small. Excuse me, and it just would not connect properly. So the figure would have easily just disjointed upon first posing it. So that would have been the obvious solution, but it would have taken heavy modification to try and make it work. If I can't find a suitable replacement abdomen section, I may still try it. Because I still don't know how I'm gonna modify this Three Jokers Batman. I still have another one that I haven't finished, that I painted in all black, in case you guys remember that one. But anyway, so that's the update on this guy, and I think he's turning out better, in my opinion. I think the head sculpt that they put out on that Zurinar was perfect. And obviously the use of these shoulder parts of the cowl fit perfectly for the McFarlane Batman. Now all that I'm needing right now is just a new abdomen section and new thighs. So that's the update on this guy. Let me know what you guys think. Did I mention that? Did I mention that the cape is glued from underneath? I forget if I mentioned or not. So speaking of the other thing, so obviously, so I have a spare figure when it comes to the spare parts from the Blackest Night Batman. Again, if many of you remember, I was also doing a custom from the Death Metal Batman. So that custom I never really finished it. So what I'm doing now is taking parts from the Death Metal Batman and using the parts from the Blackest Night, the Blackest Night Batman, to make just this custom Batman. And all I need is just a belt, or maybe a new, entire pelvic section on the undies section. I'm not too fond of how these stripes look like garter belts that he has going. So maybe I'll swap out those for something else. Again, if something comes up in the future. But overall, the recipe, I kind of like it. It's a pretty modern style Batman with these cool looking gauntlets. Obviously, this is just a hand that came from this guy. But overall, it's a decent enough looking figure that I think has potential in the future. So there you go. But no, I just wanted to update you guys on this figure here, which, like I said, I'm just gonna be from now on just gonna reference this as the McFarlane Batman, right? So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.